Gitdaebong National Park, located in the southwestern coastal and marine regions, boasts the largest area among Korea's national parks. Designated as the 14th national park in 1981, it covers an impressive area of 2,266,221 square kilometers. The park features lush, evergreen forests due to its warm maritime climate and stunning rock formations created by volcanic activity. The entire island is reddish-brown and its sunrise and sunset views are unparalleled, even designated as a natural monument. Despite heavy rain and strong winds, I embarked on my trip to Hongdo. It took about 2 hours and 30 minutes by high-speed ferry from Mokpo, covering 115 kilometers. On the first day, there isn't much to do unless you hike Gitdaebong. Most visitors take a one-night, two-day trip, spending the second morning on a sightseeing cruise around Hongdo or other nearby islands. Given the rainy and windy weather, hiking Gitdaebong was not recommended. However, since I don't visit often, I couldn't resist the opportunity to hike one of Korea's top 100 mountains, which only takes about 2 hours. Hongdo in Gitdaebong National Park is divided into two zones, Zone 1 and Zone 2. Most tourists stay in Zone 1. The Pebble Beach on the left side offers sunset views, while the right side offers sunrise views. Unfortunately, the cloudy weather meant missing both the sunset and sunrise on this trip. From my accommodation, it takes about 2 hours to hike to the summit of Gitdaebong, covering a distance of just over 4 kilometers round trip. After a short rest at my accommodation, I set off. Starting from the trail behind Hongdo Branch School, which is listed as one of Korea's top 100 mountains by the Korea Forest Service, the trail begins with a colony of daylilies. During this time, the daylilies would be in full bloom, but the rainy season means fewer visitors. Even if you don't reach the summit, you can enjoy a short hike or visit the sunset viewing platform. The trails are well maintained and serve as a meeting spot for many people from the ferry. The passenger terminal on Hongdo is about 400 meters from the Pebble Beach, a 10-15-minute walk, allowing you to explore Zone 1 of Hongdo thoroughly. It's compact and charming. Although the weather was cloudy and windy, many people opted for the sunset viewing platform and short trekking courses. However, I continued to Gitdaebong despite the wet and slippery conditions, which required caution. About halfway to Gitdaebong, the trail splits. One path leads to Gitdaebong, 1.1 kilometers, while the other leads back to Zone 1, 0.9 kilometers. The hiking trail is approximately 2 km. By 4:30 p.m., there were few people on the trail, and the fog was thick, adding a slightly eerie feeling. Capturing the misty trail after the rain provided a unique atmosphere and mood. Although I was worried about the weather when departing from Mokpo, the rain stopped upon arrival, leaving the island enveloped in mist and clouds, creating a mystical scene. The trees and forest looked magnificent. I reached the summit in about an hour, starting at 4:10 p.m. from the school entrance and arriving at 5:08 p.m. Standing at 365 meters above sea level, Gitdaebong is lush with camellia trees, mock orange trees, Japanese euonymus, and small-leaved oak trees. It also connects the villages of Zone 1 and Zone 2. Reaching the summit is said to bring good health and happiness for the year, so I hope 2024 will be a year of health and happiness. On clear days, you can see Hongdo, Gitdaebong, and Gyeongdo. Some visitors spent over 10 minutes taking photos at the marker stone, which was a bit annoying, but I still managed to take a quick selfie. Reach the top of Gitdaebong Mountain tilde, here we go. Today it rained and the trail was slippery, but normally it would take about an hour one way without much difficulty. While climbing, I didn't realize how steep it was, but on the way down I found it steeper than I thought. Be careful because it's slippery. I took a picture at the top around 5:20 p.m. and it took me about 45 minutes to reach the daylily colony below, arriving around 6:05 p.m. It took just under an hour to descend, since I won't have time for other activities in the morning. After returning to my accommodation today, I decided to visit the Mongdol Beach. Hongdo daylilies are in full bloom in July. Mongdol Beach is usually known for its sashimi restaurants. If you want to eat sashimi in Hongdo, head to Mongdol Beach tilde. For seafood, visit the Haenyeo village in front of the passenger terminal. The center of Gitdaebong National Park, Gitdaebong Mountain, is one of Korea's top 100 mountains. Despite the adverse conditions, the misty sea and forest paths were far more charming and picturesque than expected. I'll come back for the sunset and sunrise next time. Now, heading to the accommodation.